Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I have got some things to show you today. Okay, today's been, I have water on the front of my shirt. It's been one of those days. I'm filming this on Monday and you're seeing it on Tuesday. And it's just been one of those days of like, what else could go wrong? I went to film and I have 3 batteries and my battery charger charges 2 at a time. And normally I kind of keep a cycle. So when I have 2 dead batteries, I'll stick them in that charger and charge it while I'm using the 3rd battery. So I never have any issues like that. I don't know if I just didn't charge them last time or what, but I came down this morning and I had 3 dead batteries and anyway, so I had to do some other things. It's just one of those days. But here we are and I have my daughter's blazer I want to show you. I made my Cool Stitches box up and I want to show you that. And then I have 2 tops that I've made for my daughter as well. Okay, let's dig in. All right, let's start with the Cool Stitches box, which is mine. So like I normally do, I'll show you this so I can show it to you up close and then I'll put it on the mannequin when I'm talking about the other stuff. Okay, so this is, I showed you the unboxing of the Cool Stitches box. I don't know, I'll put a link up to that video if you want to look at it. And actually in that video, or in that box, she didn't stick the little notions bag in, and I had the fabric and the interfacing and the pattern and everything else, just not the little notions bag, and she was so apologetic. And I was sent this box free of charge. She just sent it to me to take a look at it, to review it, and to remind you guys that I do have a coupon for $10 off your next 3 boxes. So you can get, so if you used it last time, you can use it again. So you would get $10 off the next 3 boxes, and it is Tomcat 10. Great deal. Anyway, she sent it to me. Everything's good. And I'm so glad she did because these buttons are so good. So the pattern in this one was the Marlowe pattern by True Bias. I am a big fan. I really like this. So I made the longer version. This is kind of the grandpa cardigan version that has the little pockets in the front. It's got both versions have the buttons down the front. It's a drop sleeve. It's got kind of a nice big sleeve. It's just a really nice pattern. And I've got the shorter version traced off and ready to go for some fabric that I purchased for my spring wardrobe. So anyway, love it. The pattern is great. Really loving the pattern. Now, this fabric is some of the most interesting fabric I've ever sewn with. I've just never seen anything like it. So it is like it's a polyester fabric, but it is a sweater, like a knitted sweater on one side, and then a polyester, like a fleece. It's a fleece fabric on the inside. I've just never seen a double-sided fabric like that, but it is lovely. I mean, first I was like, oh, we're kind of getting out of the season where this would be the best, but not really, because I live in Indiana, and so we're gonna have random cold days, you know, probably until the end of May. So I've actually worn this twice. So I'm gonna show you it on, and I've actually worn it with my True Bias Hudson pants, which were the box item in the Cool Stitches box, last fall, I think. And I made that up as well, and they just go so well together. I just think it's such a cute little ensemble, and this sweater is fantastic, and you've got to look at these buttons. So the kit included the fabric. There's a little interfacing that goes in the button placket, included that. The fabric interfacing the pattern, and then in the notions box, or bag, it included matching thread, and it included needles and buttons, enough to do, everything was enough to do the largest size and the version that had, you know, needed the most. And she gave me an extra button as well, or gave the box, also had an extra button in case something happened to one. But look at these buttons. That's upside down, but are those not the coolest buttons? I just think that those are so cool, and they look so good on the front of this sweater. Again, I did the version with the pockets. I put my little tag in there. That was not included. That's just my little tag. I get asked that question though. It just says Tomcat Stitchery. I don't know if you can read that or not. It says Tomcat Stitchery. And actually, am I out of focus? It says Tomcat Stitchery, and I get them from the Dutch Label Shop, and so I get just asked that question. I have the sew-in kind, and I also have the kind that have the glue on the back, so they're iron-in. I put those in my knit tops a lot. Anyway, I can leave those linked down below if you're interested, because I do get asked that question quite a bit. Okay, sizes. I made the size 14. So in the larger size range, which is a 14 to something, I can't remember, she drafts for a D cup. In her regular size range, she drafts for a B cup. So I made the size 14, and I picked that off because that was the D cup bundle. I picked my size based off my full bust. I think a 14 is a 41 and a half. I'm like a 40 to a 41, but this worked out fine. I shortened the body of it by 1 inch, and I shortened the sleeves by 1 inch because I am short and I normally have to do that adjustment on everything, and it worked out perfectly. That's all I had to do. This sewed up in no time. Yeah, and the kit came with everything I needed. The box came with everything I needed. So just really pleased with this little sweater, and very pleased with the boxes that I've done of Cool Stitches so far, because yeah, they've just been very fashion forward patterns. Her fabrics have just been lovely. And there's two different types of colors you can pick from. It's the Jazzy box or the Cozy box. And I think the Jazzy box is like the brighter colors and Cozy is like more neutral colors. So it just kind of depends on, you know, what you're feeling. And I'm not sure which one this color would have been. But yeah, I'm very, very, very pleased. And again, I have that coupon code, so I'll leave it, everything down below. Okay. That is piece number 1. Now let's get on to showing you what I've made for my daughter. Okay, I made my daughter the Jessica blazer by Closet Core Patterns, and I'm very proud of it. Okay, so this fabric is from Minerva, and I was gifted it as part of their program. I'm one of their brand ambassadors, so I'm given the fabric, and then I can go and I post it. I mean, anyone can post anything on their profiles over there. But I, you know, did all of that, put up the pictures. So if you do want to read kind of an in-depth description of everything, because I kind of did a whole progress of posted multiple days where you can kind of see the progress as I was making the coat. All of that's over at Minerva, and I have a link to my profile page that's down below in the description box if you're curious and want to read anything. But this is the Jessica blazer. It is in this beautiful tweed. And you can kind of see there's a little bit of, it's actually a little orange, which is not one of her colors, but there's kind of a lemony yellow that's in there, and then this green just matches the color of her eyes. Perfect. It's so beautiful. And it's a wool tweed, which I think is probably one of the easier fabrics to work with if you're making a blazer. Just because your stitches sink into it real well. It's a little bit looser weave, so when you're doing your steaming and your shaping with this type of wool, everything just shapes and presses beautifully. You get like a real beautiful sleeve cap. I'm just very, very pleased with this. It feels very J. Crew to me, and she's very pleased. So that, you know, how do you go wrong with that? I did the view with, I think it's the second view, but I just did the welt pockets, so I didn't do the flap on there. She wanted to keep it simple. I think it worked out great. I actually used a cotton for the pockets. In the past, I've used the lining fabric, but then that just makes a really slippery pocket and makes it hard to sew, especially when you're trying to do like welt pockets. So I used a cotton, and I actually think I like that better. I'm gonna start doing that going forward. It just helps make everything, like a quilting cotton. It helps make everything nice and stable. I mean, I posted an up-close picture of these welts on Minerva, but I'm just very pleased with my welt pockets. We did not do the breast pocket. She just wanted to omit that. We made the size 2 with the C cup. So this pattern does have additional fronts for a C cup or a D cup. I make the D cup for myself. I made her the size 2 with the C cup. Perfect. We shortened the sleeves by 1 inch, left the body as is because she's very long in the body. So that's the only alteration I made, was shortening the sleeves by 1 inch. I used these, the leather buttons from Minerva, and the 2 different sizes. So I've got like the bigger one that's here on the front of the coat, and then the smaller ones that are on the sleeve. I thought about doing a bound buttonhole, but instead just used buttonhole thread and did I just sewed a buttonhole on there. mean, it's pretty unremarkable, but I did just sew the button that was in there. I used the Closet Core Patterns what's it called? The tailoring kit that goes for the Jessica. So it includes all of the interfacings you need. There's some stay tape that you use in different parts of the jacket, includes your shoulder pads and your sleeve heads. It's a great value. I would highly recommend it. And that worked beautifully. It's just, I just love building with tailoring. It's just so lovely. And then the lining is just an acetate lining that I had from my stash in this gray color that worked out really well. There is a vent in the back, which I love the way she bags out the lining. There's very little hand sewing that goes with putting the lining into this jacket, which is really, really lovely. And then I put my Tomcat Stitchery label in there, and she is over the moon with it. I'm pleased with it. She's really pleased with it. It just feels like a really tailored coat, and it really looks fun with her purple hair she's got right now. Yeah, I had a lot of fun sewing this. I mean, do I want to make blazers every day? No, because they are time consuming and tiring, but do I enjoy making them like on occasion? Yes, I do. And at some point I'm gonna make myself another Jessica. I made one and it's a crazy loud one. It was also on the Minerva site, but it's kind of a stretch cotton poly sateen. I was recreating a Zendaya Tommy Hilfiger collab suit. I made pants and everything, and I actually wear the jacket quite a bit because it's in my color palette, but I made that before I'd had my colors done, so who knew? But it goes with like a lot of things in my closet, so kind of funny. But I would like a very classic, you know, something very J. Crew, a Jessica as well. So at some point I'm gonna make one for myself. Every time, and in this kit that I bought, I had bought at the same time I bought the one for my mom, so I'd intended on making myself another one, but then of course we do for our children, right? So she got it. But yeah, very pleased with this. She's very pleased with it. She's worn it a few times, which I'm like, is this one of those things she thinks she wants and then never wears? But she's actually worn it a few times, so feeling good about that. Okay, so that is the Jessica. All right, next up, I have two blouses to show you. I think I'll talk you through. I guess, yeah, let me talk you through this one first, and then I'll put it on the mannequin. Okay, so this actually, I pulled it out of the dirty clothes, so it is not clean. All right, so this is her, this is the Liberty of London Patterns, the Thea boho blouse. Now, this was the one that was like, everyone was talking that they were upset because it was just a reprint of a retired Vogue pattern, I think. But the Vogue pattern's retired, you can't get it anymore. Yes, they should have been more clear about that and upfront, because if you'd already, I would have been mad had I already owned the Vogue pattern and then bought this. But I don't own the Vogue pattern, and I really thought that this would be a good one to use for her. So I bought this pattern when Minerva was having their sale at the end of January. It was actually when I was in quarantine. I had COVID and I was in quarantine. I mean, I was in quarantine for like 6 or 7 days, and none of my family caught it. So I feel very good about that. But I was shopping and Minerva had a flash sale one of the days that I was in there, and I bought this fabric, which is the Lady McElroy, the Cobra Corsage in the Chantilly colorway. I'll leave the fabric link below. But my daughter loves snakes. She follows a couple of YouTube channels and she just finds them fascinating. This was just very her. And it's like kind of, looks like illustration a little bit, you know, like botanical illustrations, which is also very her. I knew she'd love it, and she does. She loves this shirt, loves the fabric. So it's got snakes and bugs, and I had a lot of fun, and she placing the snakes and bugs onto the shirt when I was cutting it out, and she even noticed. She's like, oh, this is fun, because we have like a couple of bugs crawling on her on this side, and then we've got a snake, almost like a corsage, that's right here on this side. She's just, yeah, very, very pleased with that. And it's a cotton lawn. It was a dream to sew with. So yeah, highly recommend. Now I will say, so when I got this fabric, I washed it, and I washed it by itself because the other fabric I had gotten, it has a blue background. is it blue or green? Doesn't matter. But it had a colored background and I didn't want anything to bleed. So I washed this by itself, but I didn't put a color catcher in with it because I was washing it by itself. And it bled. And let's see, it's these really bright blue snakes right here. And you can see on a couple of them where the edges get a little muddy, but it got blue splotches in a couple of places. Now this is a very busy print, and the only reason I saw it was when I was ironing out the yardage before I cut things out. And I've never had that issue with Lady McElroy fabric running like that. So it was kind of a weird thing. But again, she doesn't care. You really can't see it because it gets lost in the print. So I'm not too worried about it, but something to note. Loved this pattern. It has so many variations. She is really excited to try a few different ones, so that's exciting. Different collar options, because we just did obviously the collar band. There's not an actual collar that's on here, but there's like a few different options with the collar and with the front button band, a few different sleeve options, all sorts of stuff. So I'm glad I bought this. I think it's going to be a good pattern. I'll probably make it a few times for her. All the bust shaping comes in gathers here at the front. There's not any darts. So it is a little bit of a boxy shirt, but she tucks everything in. She never doesn't tuck things in. So she loves it. She thinks it's perfect. So, you know, that's good. I did not have to do a full bust adjustment on this. For her, she kind of rides the line. She's a 31.5 upper bust and a 34.5 full bust, which is a 3-inch difference. But, you know, sometimes she can get away without doing a full bust adjustment. However, when I can find patterns that already have the full bust adjustment done, they always fit her better. So, but there's no gaping in the buttons or anything. And this has a hidden button placket, which I find lovely and think that that's really nice. I didn't bother pattern matching anything. Because it's such a big, busy pattern, and I'm feeling good about that. Alterations, I left the body alone, shortened the sleeves by 1 inch. Everything looks good. So, great pattern, love this one. Okay, one more thing to show you. Lena's also a little bigger than my daughter. Lena's a lot smaller than me, a little bigger than my daughter. So things are rather tight here across the bust, but anyway, you can get the idea. And it's also very wrinkled. But again, I pulled that at the dirty clothes, so. It's just a great shirt. I love that. She loves that statement sleeve. The fabric is just her 100%. I'm very happy that I made that for her. Okay, and then I have a final shirt to show you. So, okay, I may butcher your name and I really apologize. In my head, I have people that comment quite frequently and I see their names that are right there. And in my head, I pronounce them a certain way, but yes, I know that that's probably, you know, it very well could not be the way that they pronounce their name, so I apologize. But Joanna or Joanna, however you pronounce, I apologize if I butcher that, had sent me a message though and told me, it's when I was talking about something with sewing for my daughter. And just from experience, she said what you should do is cut out stuff for your daughter when you're cutting out stuff for yourself and just have like a little pile where you can pull things and make things for your daughter. She was saying the only reason she was saying that is that she had so many requests from her girls when they were, I think she has multiple daughters, when they were younger, and she just never got around to making them. And then before you know it, they're out of the house, and then you're wishing that you would have made the thing. Whatever it is. And gosh, with my kids being freshmen right now, that just hit me in all the feels, because I am very aware that we are, you know, it's like, it's a ticking, I mean, it's always a ticking clock, right? Like they're growing and it goes fast. But man, you know, now that my daughter's really into fashion and really actually asking me for things, I just so appreciate that comment, because I'm like, she's right. Like this is something that I need to make time for it, or I'm really gonna be sad that I didn't, you know, while she's in the stage of wanting things and asking for things and expressing herself. So I'm like, okay, when I do cutout sessions, I'm gonna cut out some things for her. And for the first time in a really long time, actually, Thursday last week, I decided, you know, I'm doing my spring sewing right now for myself. I'm still waiting on a lot of fabric, but that's okay, because I had some stuff that was already in my stash that I'm going to be working through and that sort of thing. So I'm like, I'm just going to cut out, you know, this, and this on Thursday. I actually cut out 5 patterns, got them all interfaced and like prepped and ready to go. And then I made 5 piles over here at the end of my sewing table. And then since then I have just been working through, I'm on like a 1 a day right now. So today's Monday. and I finished number 5 today. So I'm gonna do another cutout session. I'm really liking that. Sean from Kittenish Behavior has been doing that since they moved to their new house. And I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. And I think, you know, a couple of these projects I was able to do just in a couple of hours because everything was cut out and prepped. Like, it was interfaced, everything was ready to go. So I just came down here when I had some time and actually found that I was able to get the whole thing completed. So I'm loving that. And I think I'm gonna do that again probably tomorrow, but, or today as you're watching this. But I'm gonna try and throw something in for my daughter, at least one thing for my daughter in each of those cutting out sessions so that I can get things made up for her and she can be enjoying wearing them and all that stuff. So that being said, that's what this project was. So I was cutting out, this is a really like a 4.5 or 5 ounce, maybe 4 ounce. It's a denim shirting. It's a kind of a chambray, but a denim fabric from Style Maker, but a lightweight denim. I mean, I guess you could make floaty pants with it, but it's for shirts. It's a chambray style fabric, which actually I ended up not making the dress I was gonna make with it. I did make that dress in a different fabric, but I ended up going another way with the chambray. But while I had all 4 yards of that out, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and cut her out a shirt because she had mentioned that she would like a, oh, I had to unpick the shoulder seam and now there's stray threads. There we go. She said that she would like another classic shirt that she could just wear under her new blazer and just, you know, just as easy to wear with things as her white button-up shirt because she has some skirts that she was wanting for the white button-up shirt, but she thought having a chambray one, and this is one of her colors completely because she is a summer, what is she? Calm summer? But she really wanted a shirt. And so I was like, well, I've got everything, you know, the fabric out, it's been ironed, all of it. So I just went ahead, pulled that pattern out and cut this out. And then this went into the pile too. And I just got this one sewn up. So you've seen this before. I made her a white version. This is just a chambray version. I make her the size 2 with the C cup. And I don't think I've made any adjustments to this. I don't even think I've shortened the sleeves because with a cuff sometimes she doesn't mind that it's a little long because the cuff stops it, and she always has her cuffs buttoned. She doesn't roll her cuffs. So I don't think I've done anything to this pattern, but again, I just pulled it out from when I did the white one and made up really quickly. I used these kind of, here I'll show you on the sleeve, these little buttons. These are from Wawak. They're like a shirt button, but they're kind of look like a tortoiseshell, but they're kind of a, not really rubbery, but they're not like a, I don't know, they're like a matte plastic, I guess. Like, yeah, that's what I would call it, a matte plastic. So we did that down the front. Oh, and then I had enough. I'd made bias binding for this shirt because I finished off the whole hem with the bias binding because it's got, I mean, I probably didn't need to, but it does have a little bit of curve to it, and I just love that hem finish so much that I'd made bias tape out of the leftovers of this fabric, and then I had made a whole bunch of bias tape. So I did the hem on this shirt with that bias tape, which I thought was really cute, because no one will ever see this, but she'll know it's there, and she'll see it when she puts the shirt on and off. So yeah, I thought that that was fun. So that's my preference for any kind of shirt tail hem, and this pattern has a very deep curve right in there, which I find impossible to do a narrow hem on. So bias binding to the rescue, it works a dream. So you get a nice hem, and then if you want to use contrasting fabric, you have a fun little pop there. So I did that on the bottom. But yeah, not a whole lot to say. You guys have seen this shirt again on her before, but I was just really happy that I got that cut out and sewn up and all ready for her. So there you have it. That gets you all up to date on the things that I had made for my daughter, and also on my Cool Stitches box, because I wanted to show you guys that because soon we'll be coming out of that weather. But yeah, I've just been very impressed with the Cool Stitches boxes as well. Okay, going forward, I've got a Destashify video coming at you at some point. It may be on Friday, but maybe the following week. I have my entry for the So Frugal Challenge. Don't forget about that if you've been following along, which is just finding a free pattern and using fabric from your stash. And then we're all posting our pictures on Instagram on the 31st. I'll probably show you guys what I did on the 1st, but my stuff will be on up on Instagram for the contest on the 31st. So that's kind of what's going on that way. I've been steadily going through, I'm looking at fabric behind you, behind the camera, that is fabric that I already have for my spring capsule. I'm making my way through that, so I've made a few things already, mostly dresses, one top. But anyway, I'm very excited to, I got a few of my fabrics today, so get those washed up and excited to get those all made up. Yeah, just a lot of fun makes and that sort of thing coming up through the rest of March. Sunday is going to be the last of the Ziggy sew along. That is part 7. And then the following week, I usually like to do a tutorial. So, oh, and I just thought of something that I didn't tell you guys. Sorry, because I was going to ask about it for the tutorial. On the sleeves of this Thea boho blouse, the way that they want you to do the placket kind of for the sleeve that the cuff goes into is just to do it in the seam allowance. I hate finishing off sleeves that way because then you have like the edge of the cuff right on your underarm, a part of your, when it's supposed to be on the side. And so I go ahead and put in a continuous placket usually, most of the time. Sometimes I'll do a tower placket, but I like to do tower plackets on most of my just like button-up shirts. And a tower placket, it looks like this, which is included on this pattern, but it's the one that has like the little doop, tower. That's a tower placket. But on this shirt, I did draft my own, not draft, you're basically just marking a line to do a continuous lap on this shirt. So, because I didn't want to finish it in the seam allowance. So I just moved it over and did that. So I was wondering, in between the Ziggy, which the last video is on Sunday, would you like a tutorial on how I do that? If you have a sleeve where you would like to do a continuous lap placket, or you could do a tower placket as well. I mean, any kind of placket into a sleeve. Or I could do a how I match stripes video if you're interested in that. So I get questions on that. Just let me know. What's a tutorial you would like to see in, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday? And then after that, we're gonna start the Itch to Stitch Upland trousers, and I am gonna make actual trousers. So I'm gonna do the full pants, I've decided, but they'd be easy to shorten into shorts as well. And we can talk about that in that sew along. So let me know what you'd like to see for the tutorial in 2 weeks. And yeah, I will see you next time. I hope you're having a good day and you get some sewing in. Bye.